is Davia Drummond. Today, I'll be speaking to you from the book of Acts, chapter 21 through to 26, and focusing on the ministry of Paul, the greatest evangelist. I believe we can all agree that he is one of the greatest evangelists, if not the greatest. In chapter 21, we see Brother Paul being warned by prophets of his sufferings to come. Unbothered, Paul was determined to go forward. Even though many people discouraged him, Paul's reply was, I am ready not only to be bound, but also to die in Jerusalem for the name of Jesus. How many of us can say that today, that we are ready to die for the cause of Christ? Upon arrival to Jerusalem, a riot broke out because of Paul. Paul was beaten and bound with 2 chains, just as the prophets prophesied. The crowd was in uproar against Paul and shouted, "Get rid of him." They wanted him dead. After his conversion to Christianity, Paul was no longer a part of the popular opinion. He was no longer a part of the popular crowd, but that didn't deter him. He still sought opportunity to speak to that very crowd who sought to kill him and shared his conversion story with them. Paul didn't care who was for him or against him. He kind of had thick skin, right? He was focused in telling about the goodness of Jesus. He didn't care who wanted to throw stones at him or who wanted to crucify him. His one and only main concern was to do what God had called him to do, even if it meant death. Paul had a certain resolve. His mind was made up, he was resolute, he was firm and sure in his stance. He was rooted and grounded, as the old-time city missioners would say. You've got to be rooted and grounded. Before Paul began his ministry, he took the time to study and to prepare himself. He studied about 3 years and presented himself to Jesus' disciples to gain their approval. Remember, this was the same man who was zealous after the death of Christians and oversaw the stoning of Stephen, a martyr in Christendom. After his conversion, many Christians still did not believe Paul was truly converted and were still very afraid, as they really should be. Paul was brought before the Sanhedrin Council, the Jewish council. They plotted to kill him. People vowed not to eat until they killed him. In other words, there was a hit out on Paul, all because of the gospel. Paul was brought to trial before Felix, where he spoke so openly about his faith, so much that Felix himself became scared and had to send Paul away. 2 years later, still in prison, Paul had a trial before Festus. Paul was later brought before Agrippa, and still he told his conversion story. Paul didn't grow weary. His posture nor his passion was not weakened. He still used every opportunity he got to spread the gospel. So this morning, my takeaways: be bold in spreading the gospel. Study like Brother Paul to be prepared for the task God has called you to. Use every opportunity to spread the gospel, good, bad, indifferent. Seek opportunities to spread the gospel. Paul didn't just wait for an opportunity to come to him. He sought opportunities. When he was in chains, he asked the commander to give him an opportunity to speak, and he spoke to the very people who wanted him dead. He didn't care. He just wanted to tell the message of Jesus. Be resolute in your stance for God and place the call of God on your life above all others, above school, above work, above your finances, and God forbid that I may say above your family. Place the call of God on your life above all others. Finally, I pray that we all will have the same level of commitment like Brother Paul, where we are not afraid of death, but willing to face death for the sake of the gospel. Are you there yet? Are we there yet? I pray that we all get there. God bless you and have a great morning.